Well, hey guys, happy Friday. I feel like it's Friday every day. I don't, but I feel like that's how fast time is going for me right now. Like, I don't have time. I don't have time. I'm just so busy. I think it's having kids in competitive sports, the month of May, field trips, class parties, projects. Mom, can you make this for me? It's due in like 3 days. What? Going to Hobby Lobby, getting it done. Lots to do. Lots to do in a little bit of a time. And after this, I've got a mound of laundry to fold. Like it's embarrassing. It's at the point where like people are going through their there's nothing in their closet anymore. They're like, can I socks? I need socks. I'm like, you're gonna have to go through the pile of laundry. So that's next on my list. After this, that's what's my day looks like. Okay, it's really glamorous, super glamorous, you guys. I live a life of luxury. I do. Say it is what it is. All right. But it's just that time of year, and it's crazy busy. And then you've got all the pollen in the trees, and I do love spring, but it's like if I'm wiping my nose, if my eyes look bloodshot. I haven't been hanging out with Hunter Biden. It's because there's a lot going on in the air. Okay. All right. Happy Friday. Heidi on YouTube. Kurt, what's up? Wisconsin. Oh, okay. I got you. Wisconsin, I like it. That's clever. Barb, what's up? On YouTube. Good to see you. Vicky on Facebook. Hello, greetings, everyone. Welcome. Get in here. Let's talk. Let's break down the week. There's lots to discuss. I told my supporters the other day, I was like, please forgive me because I'll just tell you. I've been in kind of like a little bit of a creative dry patch. And if you're a creative person, at all, if you're creative, if you're an artist, or if you're into acting or creating or directing or producing or whatever, like if you're in some kind of creative field, kind of like what I do, you will occasionally hit moments where like there's just nothing is coming towards you, like there's nothing, and there might be tons of material, but you're just like not in the creative mindset to see it, capture it, and then put it back out there the way you envisioned it. And I've been in this, like, I don't know, creative dry patch for a little while. And I'm like, it's just not, I don't know. Like, So a satire hit me yesterday that I made and put up. It's not even doing that well. So maybe it wasn't, it was clever in my mind, but the viewer was like, it's just not. I'll show it to you later. But anyway, so I did that. And usually that's the day I prep for this. So we're going to wing it a little bit. I do have notes and everything like that, but I'm not as polished. Not that I'm polished ever, but I'm not as polished as I am sometimes. But I did see this right before I got on here, and I have to share it with you guys. Because these people, these Democrats, I think it's Connecticut, they thought they were so clever. They posted this video, and you just have to watch it and feel sorry for them. Just watch this.
I'd rather have 100 bad haircuts than to deal with 100 days of Donald Trump.
I'd rather have 100 vaccination shots in my arm.
I would rather have to take 100 scammer calls than go through the last 100 days.
I would rather have 100 children on a bus singing 100 bottles of beer on the wall.
I would rather sit on Interstate 84 in a traffic jam for 100 hours.
I'd rather cook 100 family meals, and believe me, my kids are going to find this very funny, than 100 days of Trump.
I'd rather take the bar exam 100 times than have another 100 days of the Trump administration.
Yeah, Connecticut Senate Democrats. Now, if you're ever wondering, like, is TDS really a thing? Like, is it true that you can actually have Trump derangement syndrome? You just have to watch this video because these people are like, yeah, we can't stand Trump so much that we're gonna write about how we'd rather do 100 days of this or that or whatever. And what is so bad? that's my thing. Like when I hear people like this, I'm like, okay, what? Okay, just tell me. Could you just tell me what he's done to you? Like, how has your life, and just like, let's just talk about it. Like in the last 100 days, because we're going to talk about celebrating the first 100 days of Trump. But what did he do to you that made you think like, I'm going to make a video about 100 things that I'd rather have happen than have Trump? Like what? I don't, I'm like, listen, the economy is not, it's moving. And actually we got a great report this morning. So a bummer for these people that have TDS, because they're just going to be so upset that it was predicted that we'd get 135,000 new jobs in April. And instead 177,000 have been created. Unemployment is still low. It's at 4.2%. Of course, we're going to work to get that lower, but it hasn't elevated, especially with these tariffs and all the tariff, everybody panic. Everybody tariff panic. And it's like, no, we're okay. Like we're okay. We're good. Thanks. And of course I wanted to get better, right? Like there's so many things that like being in the middle class that you need and you want. And actually hourly earnings rate rose 3.8% from last year. So since Biden has been removed from office, hourly earnings have gone up 3.8%. Do we want to see yearly earnings increase? Yes, because the cost of living is high. We're getting it low. It's starting to go lower, but things are starting, and it's going to take a while. This is the thing. Like you can't just snap your fingers and boom, economy's great. Boom, everything. Like it's just, utopia. It takes hard work. It takes work to get to remove, to go back, to roll back all of the junk that was rolled over us under the Biden administration. So good report this morning, jobs report, unemployment rate, 3.8%, hourly earnings up from last year at this time. And only, my hope is it only gets better, right? Like a year from now, we'd love to report hourly earnings up, 7, 8%, 9%, 10%, as we start to see these tariffs start to play their role. Now, I know people are like, oh, it's still not that great for me, but I think we're moving in the right direction. I really do. I feel like we're moving in the right direction. And the people that have TDS, I look forward to not talking to them. I don't know if you can ever help someone with TDS, because I do know people that have it, and there's nothing you could say. I mean, Trump could cause world peace. Everyone could be making, $1 million a year. And people with Trump derangement syndrome would still be like, no, it's terrible. It's the worst ever. It's the worst. So I don't know if you can help those people, honestly. But for those in the middle that don't have TDS, things are looking up. So that's good. What else do I have to say here? Let's go through. Oh, really quick. I saw this yesterday. Do you guys remember the whole Elon Musk, right? Do you guys remember Elon Musk? Yes, of course. Does anybody know who Elon Musk is? No, like Doge. So they came in and they started making cuts, and it caused the left again to be outraged. Just, oh no, the Department of Government Efficiency come in, finding waste, fraud, and abuse in our government. And they were really upset about the young techs, right? The young, savvy tech guys that were able to get in there, use a lot of artificial intelligence to locate and identify the waste. People 130 years old getting social security checks. They were able to identify all this because they're really smart guys, right? And it made the news a while back that one of the guys' names he went by Big Balls. Okay, it was just like his nickname kind of a thing. And the left reported on it like just so mad. I mean, you had people on mainstream media just being like, and you got this guy in there named Big Balls. He's finding the waste and abuse, and it's just terrible. Well, we finally met this guy. He went on with Jesse Waters, I think it was yesterday. And I thought it was funny. I just was like, who is he? Right. So if I could here he is.
It's big.
Big balls.
It's big.
That should be obvious. Why do they call you Big Balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
Yeah.
There you go.
LinkedIn is so cringe.
There you go. But that really, I mean, that upset so many people. They were so mad. Let me make sure I'm sharing this on. Sorry. I know I'm coming across like scattered. People are like, she's just so out of control right now. She's just scattered. She doesn't know what she's doing. Okay. So we finally met that guy, and you could tell young, tech savvy, just, these young guys, and he did it as a humor. The thing is, I have found, especially under the Trump administration, the left has no sense of humor, like at all. There's just no humor. There's no, you can't laugh. Everything's horrible and terrible. And they're not laughing. Even comedians on the left aren't funny anymore. Like, it's just all gone out. It's like, they can't, everything is so serious, and it's not. And so I love it that he's like, I just did it because everybody on LinkedIn was so serious and I wanted to be different. So, but that was yesterday, and I saw that, I thought it was funny. Okay. So let's just run down, because I thought, okay, we're celebrating the first 100 days of the Trump administration. The left is in tears. They think that the world's ended. And I think, to be honest with you, what Trump has accomplished in the first 100 days is more than any president prior that I can remember in my lifetime. And it's so much so that for what I do, I haven't been able to keep up on it, right? Like, I haven't been able to. And usually, I mean, when Biden was president, like, I could sleep through the week, wake up, read like one or two things that happened, and that was it. Like, it's nothing. But this, it's like, what happened today? What happened? It's constant. So there's so much that's happened. But I was like, let's look at the top 20, right? Top 20 things that I kind of found significant that Trump has done in the first 100 days. And I just want to read them to you, because I think it's good to reflect. And it's also good to have some things in your back pocket if you're like, well, what has Trump done? Like, it's still horrible. The price of eggs is so high. Like, stop. You can have a few things that you can say, hey, this is what he's done, and this is why I voted for him. So here we go. Let's get into it. Okay. So in the first 100 days, Trump signed 143 executive orders. He made broad reach on immigration, energy, and really used his executive power in a good way to protect America and Americans. Now, we still need Congress, of course, to act on a lot of this immigration policy, but Trump has done so much to secure our border. I mean, border droppings are like border crossings are like next to nothing at this point. When we had hundreds of thousands crossing our border throughout the week, like it is a massive difference. And that's why it's important to note, because Biden's like, well, there's nothing I could do. I just have to wait for Congress, as 20 million people poured into our country, right? Oh, there's nothing I can do. My hands are tied. When we now see that there was something he could have done. He could have enforced current immigration law. He could have secured the border. He could have started deporting people that came here illegally, and he didn't. He didn't do that because they want people here illegally. They want mass amnesty. They want these people to vote Democrat so that we can never have another Republican in office ever again. Like, that's the Democrats' goal, like, if we're just real. So that's why they kept the border open, and they endangered Americans because of that. Americans have lost their lives because Democrats want votes. Like, if you just simplify it, that's what happened. And anybody that has lost a child to fentanyl, or had their child trafficked, we have hundreds of thousands of missing children right now because of the Biden administration. So the amount of people that have been impacted wrongfully and harmfully because of Biden and his open border policy, when he could have done something. And now we see that with Trump, because he did do something. and now we have a secure border. So, and that helps out the lefties, man, because criminals, they don't ask you, hey, are you a Republican or are you a Democrat before I harm you? Like, they don't care. So this protects all Americans, just so you know. The Laken-Riley Act was signed, and that gives ICE the ability to be able to detain and not release these people back onto the streets. And Laken-Riley would still be here if Biden administration would have done that. Also, they reduced illegal border crossings to 96% drop. That's a 25-year low. They resumed border wall construction. They've reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy, which worked great under the first Trump administration. The minute Biden got in there, he said, hey, you don't have to, you're declaring amnesty. You don't have to wait in Mexico for that. You just cross our border. Here's a court order when you're supposed to come and before a judge, and we'll hear your case. These people never show up, almost never. Literally, I would like to count on that, how often these people, they get court orders to show up for their amnesty case or to hear a hearing before a judge. They don't show up. They just come into the country and they don't show up ever again. So no vetting was taking place under the Biden administration. No vetting whatsoever. So that happened. Reinstating the Remain in Mexico policy means that you would stay in Mexico. You would go to the embassy there, the U.S. embassy in Mexico, and you would then wait to be cleared to enter the United States. But Biden stopped that. Trump reinstated it. Over 135 illegal immigrants have been deported so far. He invoked the Alien Enemies Act, which targeted Venezuelan gang members. It was a bold move, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's an executive overreach." But we're going to talk about Garcia here later, and the more stuff that they found on this guy that the Democrats have made their saint. I don't know why any Democrat is arguing for Venezuelan gang members to stay in our country, but that's the hill they want to die on. It blows my mind. Also, he shut down the CBP-1 app, which ended a Biden-era parole tool used by over 1 million immigrants. He introduced tariffs, a 10% on most countries, higher with China, of course, and those negotiations are still in progress. The goal here, in case people don't know, is, and you probably do know because you're all informed, people that follow politics generally are, but the whole goal of tariffs is to get to the point where it boosts the economy so much that it incentivizes big corporations to then invest here in America and not make their products offshore, right? So if the economy starts thriving, right, and we start thriving from these taxing basically goods coming in, goods going out, all this increase in tariffs, the whole goal is then to lower taxes for Americans. I know that Trump eventually wants to have like little to no income tax. So think right now about what you're paying in income tax and how much would it benefit you if you were paying like 10% or 15% or nothing. That's, if we can get to that point, what would that do? And then also, if you're not a lower for corporations, like I know the left is always like, we need to tax corporations, tax them higher. But the problem is when you're taxing corporations, what you're doing is those CEOs that are getting, millions and millions of dollars a year as their salary, and then they get these insane bonuses. They're not like, oh no, because you're taxing us, we're not going to give that to ourselves anymore. What they do is that hits the middle in corporations. That hits the people that are in management, the people that are just trying to make their way up the ladder. That cuts them. So when you're taxing corporations heavily, you're not hitting the guys at the top. You're not hitting the guys that are riding along in, going to their fifth home you know, or their villa in Italy on their private yacht. Like those guys are never impacted, right? So the AOCs out there that are like, tax the corporations, tax the rich doesn't get that. They have so many brilliant people working for them that they find every single avenue they can to avoid extra tax, and any kind of hit that they would take, they pass it down to the middle guy. So it's the guy in the middle, basically, that gets hit by these massive taxes. So if we could lower corporate taxes, then you would actually be helping the people in the middle not get hit. Those are the ones that get hit. And I guess people don't understand that if you haven't worked in the private sector, if you haven't worked in a corporation, that's the people. Like when people, if you're on here and you're corporate, you start hearing that there's going to be layoffs. You start hearing that they're going to be making significant cuts. They come for the middle. That's who they cut, right? So I don't understand that. But anyways, that's what these tariffs are supposed to do, right? So eventually they are going to, you know, help us on the tax front. Also, he secured over 1.1 trillion in investments. That includes 500 billion for AI. And I'm not like cheering AI on, but it's advancing rapidly. And if we want to be on the forefront of it, then we have to be investing in it. We don't want China to pass us with AI technology. We don't want other countries to pass us. So we have to be investing in it and excelling at it at a rapid speed, because its intelligence is increasing rapidly. Created 345,000 jobs so far. And this isn't the first 100 days. Like this is since January. Lowered energy prices. Gasoline is down by 7%. Overall energy, 2%. Ended the Biden's EV mandate. He scraped 7.5 billion charging program. Withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement. Pardoned January 6 defendants. That was a promise that he made continually on the campaign trail. Banned DEI policies, replacing them with a merit-based system for federal agencies. Aren't we thankful to see that? Designated English as our official language. It's kind of shocking that that hasn't been done. Reduced prescription drug prices. Overall, 2% drop. Largest monthly decline was in March. Established Department of Government Efficiency. And they've already identified, I don't know. I know the goal is $1 trillion. So I don't know where we're at on that, but that's phenomenal. And is that it? Is that the 20? Is that, okay. And then, yes. And then I also said banned transgender medical care for minors. So we're not mutilating innocent children anymore that don't have fully developed brains. Democrats were all for that. So fantastic. That's the top 20 for me. If you have stuff that you know that he's done that you would like to share, drop it in the comments. Love to see it. I had somebody doing a ton of posting on here. Okay. So let me get my notes. I should. Okay. So what's up next? All right. Somebody made an appearance this week. They haven't made an appearance since the election. Kamala Harris made her debut. She did her first speech since she kind of disappeared. She spoke at the Emerge 20 at the gala in San Francisco. It was the Emerge 20th anniversary. I don't even know what Emerge is. I mean, maybe I should. She hinted at a future political plans. Or a possible run for governor is what she kind of hinted at. Here she is. Hi, everyone. Hi. Oh, it's good to be home. Thank you. Hi, Andrea. Hi, everyone. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. And Dougie's here, too. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. Okay, we're good. And Dougie's here too. And this was quickly ruined because they just did a poll. I can't believe that CNN aired this like shortly after. But CNN, shocker, actually, ran a poll stating that after 100 days in office, despite 92% negative coverage from the media, Americans would still pick Trump. So all those people out there, they're like, oh, you're regretting your vote? You're regretting your vote, aren't you? Aren't you regretting that you vote? No, I'm not regretting that I voted for Trump. I mean, to be honest with you, securing the border and ending the mutilation of children, that's good for me. Like, I'm good. It's honestly, like, if I'm going to be completely real with you guys, like, those mean so much to me. And the fact that we're not allowing people to pour into our country that we have no idea why they're coming. We're not vetting them. Like, the fact that we're securing our border is making Americans safer. It's making my kids safer. Fantastic. And this whole transgender stuff has really gotten out of control. It's gotten so insanely out of control. And the fact that this new administration is coming in saying, hey, we're not mutilating kids. We're not doing that. That's good for me. I mean, all this other stuff, yes, fantastic. But he could have done those two things and I would have been good. Honestly. So that's how I feel. Anyways, so here's the poll that CNN ran. Not good for Kamala.
Her job as president. Guess who comes out on top? Within the margin of error, but comes out on top. This looks a lot like the election result, right? Trump 45%, 2 points ahead of Harris, 43%. 12% say they'd be doing about the same. But this is the key nugget here. It's not just about regretting that vote. It's literally saying who would be doing the better job right now. And Trump continues to score a higher percentage of the vote than Kamala Harris. This looks a heck of a lot like the election result. We have just seen this in poll after poll after poll.
Well, there you go. So it's got to be disappointing, though, if you're a leftist and you're like, oh, so he would still win probably if we had an election today after the 100 days. I mean, people are willing to shave their heads. And what were they saying at the top, these lefties? I would rather shave my head. I would rather take 100 horrible spam calls every day of every hour. I would rather be on a bus with 1,000 children. Just stop. Like, you're just admitting to everyone that you are truly deranged. Like, you don't want a secure border? That bothers you. You want to keep mutilating the children? Yeah. Crazy. These people are crazy. Anyways. Okay, on Thursday, there was a little bit of a cabinet shuffle. Little bit of a shakeup. Trump announced National Security Advisor Mike Waltz would transition to UN ambassador, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio named as the interim National Security Advisor. Trump had previously nominated Representative Elise Stefanik. I want to say Stefanik, but it's not. I think it's Stefanik for UN ambassador in November. But they withdrew her nomination in March of 2025 due to concerns about the slim Republican majority in the House. And they didn't want her to lose her seat. So they want to keep her in the House. So they're moving this Mike Waltz guy over to UN ambassador. And, you know, there's a lot of chatter and a lot of gossip. It's like, well, why? Did they do that because they don't want to just straight up fire him? Do they want it to look like there's no, like, you know, everything's going smooth and great? There was that Signal chat leak, if you guys remember that, about a month ago, where Waltz created a Signal messaging group that had U.S. military strikes against the Houthi militants in Yemen on it. He inadvertently, is what we're told, added Jeffrey Goldberg, who is the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, to the chat. Like, that blows my mind. I'm sorry. Like, just how did Jeffrey get in here is the question. Like, what? If I'm on a chat, I know who I'm, like, just now, you probably heard it. I'm on a chat. It's baseball, obviously. Talking about this weekend. But I know who's on the chat and if, especially if I'm leading the chat, I'm going to know who I'm adding and not adding. So I struggle with that whole take on it. I think if you're putting a chat together, you know who's on it. That's just my take. So we'll see what happens with this. And right now, it just broke this morning that Stephen Miller is a top contender for NSA director. So we'll see how things develop there. That's kind of, I would love Stephen Miller as national security advisor. I mean, that's fantastic. But we'll see if things develop there. A federal judge ruled this week that Trump's use of wartime law for Venezuelan deportations was unlawful, citing racist generalizations by Homeland Security Kristi Noem. Now, this guy, I wanted to look into them. Like, who is this judge that ruled this? He's a district judge, Fernando Rodriguez in Brownsville, Texas. But he was appointed by Trump, and he is conservative leaning in his rulings. So this makes it interesting to me on why, and maybe it's more of like, hey, there's another way around this. You don't, the wartime law is not the way to go. A lot of judges are like, there's other routes to take with deportations, but enacting this is not the way to go. But I found it fascinating because there's all of the left is talking about how, Trump is defying these judges and he's just ignoring them. But then I stumbled upon this video and I was like, whoa, what? So watch this.
A couple hours ago, what did you think?
Well, I think rulings like this, and I think we've seen from the FDA and also from activity in Congress, that some of these rulings, I think we've been preparing and anticipating for there being these egregious.
Now, let me preface this by saying this was in 2023 when Biden was president. A Texas judge in Texas ruled to suspend an abortion pill. And this is AOC's response.
Overreaches by members of the judiciary appointed by a right-wing Republican Party whose goal for a very long time was to just pack these courts with partisan judges, often underqualified or completely unqualified for their role. And so there has been thought, I believe, given to this. Senator Ron Wyden has already issued statements, for example, advising what we should do in a situation like this, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. I think that the courts.
I'm sorry, did she just say that the Biden administration should just ignore this ruling? Let's hold on. Let's just rewind it a tiny bit and re-listen to what AOC, I mean, she is the voice for the Democrats, right? Am I right? So let's listen. What did she say?
I think that this, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling.
Should ignore this ruling. She just said they should ignore the ruling.
Like this, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. I think that the courts have the legitimacy and they rely on the legitimacy of their rulings. And what they are currently doing is engaged in an unprecedented and dramatic erosion of the legitimacy of the courts. It is the justices themselves, through the deeply partisan and unfounded nature of these rulings, that are undermining their own enforcement.
So you're saying the Biden administration should ignore this court, but what does that look like? What does that actually mean?
I think the interesting thing when it comes to a ruling is that it relies on enforcement. And it is up to the Biden administration to choose whether or not to enforce such a ruling.
Okay, so there you have it. It's up to the administration to whether or not to choose to enforce a ruling. That's what AOC just said. It was fine for Biden to choose whether or not to enforce a ruling. Why can't Trump do that? Like, let's just be real. Let's just be real with you. Like, what? Okay, you think that it's fine if Biden ignores a ruling? What's the problem if Trump says, hey, These people came in here illegally. They don't respect our laws. They didn't use due process to get in. Why should we be using due process to get them out? Court says, no, you got to do that. Okay, we're just going to ignore the ruling, just like AOC says to do. Just ignore the ruling. Look. Hey, AOC said it. It wasn't me. I'm just reiterating what she said. Okay, that's all. So found that fascinating. Just fascinating. Anyways, okay, there is a little DNC, Democratic National Convention, problems going on. There's some internal conflict, which is not common. I mean, the Democrats, there's one thing that they do right, and I'll give them this. They do. They unite, right? We like internal conflict. We fight and we argue and you shut your face. But the Democrats, they unite, advance, but they're having a little bit of issues, which is fascinating to me. A candidate who lost to David Hogg, you guys remember David Hogg? So now he is the vice president of the DNC. So somebody that lost to David Hogg position is now challenging the election, alleging that the DNC rule alleging DNC rule violations. The credentialing committee will review the complaint on May 12th. And they're saying that they're trying to find a way to oust Hogg, because Hogg stated just in April that he plans on using, I think it is, he plans on using at least $20 million from a PAC to challenge incumbents. And this is not done in the Democrat world. They like you get into office as a Democrat and you're pretty much coasting. And it's kind of gotten that way a lot in the Republican Party as well, which I cannot stand this, guys. I can't stand this. But you got these lifelong people in office, right? I think it's a 93% election a chance that you have, a re-election chance. Like if you get into office, you're pretty much set. You're not going to be ousted. It's difficult to oust somebody. So it's like you're sitting pretty, right? You get in, you make all your promises to the constituents. I love you. I'm there. I'm going to go to Washington and work for you. Then you go to Washington, you get wine and dined by the lobbyists. You completely lose touch with your constituents. You start hearing about some great deals. You start dabbling a little bit in the stock market. You start making millions of dollars. You're getting promised from all these lobbyists. Whoa, we'll give you so much money for your campaign. Whoa. And you start doing stuff for them and it just gets dirty. I mean, that is our current system. It's dirty. It's ugly. It's gross. I just no. I'm a big term limits person. Then people are like, well, we do have term limits. We do. Like it's called elections. No, not when you have a 93% chance of getting reelected. Okay. Because you've been wined and dined by these lobbyists who then form a PAC. All right. A political action committee. They put millions into that PAC and they can donate as much as they want to you. Right. That's what a political action committee can do. Now you have individual donations by individuals, but those are capped. Okay. You can only, I think it's like 2,500 or something like that. Max amount of money you can give to a campaign as an individual, but a PAC, they can give a lot of money. So it's incestuous and it's just a revolving, it's just a revolving door. And it's dirty. It's dirty. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I wish we could change it. I want term limits. You go, serve, go home. Right. And that's just my take on it. So I might agree with Hogg a little bit on challenging incumbents, right? I might agree with that. I don't think you should be a career politician. I don't think anybody should be like, well, what did I do? Well, I served 50 years. Well, that's not good. Like, you've lost touch. You don't know what a gallon of gas costs. Like, but anyways, David Hogg has said, hey, why want to challenge these people? And Democrats are like, you can't do that. Like, you can't, we're not allowed to do that. Like, we don't do that because it's risky. That's why they don't want to do it. And it is risky. It's risky because when you challenge an incumbent, then you have a chance of like two no names in an election going up and battling against each other for the spot, right? And so it's a way to hold power, basically, is why the power of the incumbency. It is. And it's a way for parties to hold power. And so they don't like this, that David Hogg wants to do this. They don't like that he wants to put 20 million into challenging incumbents. And of course he's doing it because David Hogg is doing it for the wrong reasons. I like the idea of a good solid primary. I do. But he's doing it because he wants further left radicals in these positions. I'm, of course, on the Republican side. You could challenge and put, very conservative people that are very much constitutionalists, that believe in American exceptionalism, that the First Amendment, Second Amendment, I mean, all of it. You could get those people to primary each other and run and then face off. But he's being very much debated right now, and they're saying that they think that they're bringing this kind of allegation against him, violating rules and all of that by his opponent is alleging this, that they're doing this because they don't like it that he's going to try to challenge incumbents. And I know everybody has their opinion on this. I have debated so many people on term limits and why we should not have term limits and why we should have term limits. So I'm sure people are commenting here, but yeah, so that's happening right now. And I think it says that they're going to review the complaint on May 12th. So that's interesting because usually they're just happy-go-lucky. Like they get along, right? They get along because they want to unite and advance. And that is smart. That is a way to, I mean, hey, they've taken over several institutions through almost every institution in our country, right? So, but the fact that they're having a little bit of a, family spat is fascinating to me. We'll see how that develops. Maryland man, he's back in the news again. He's never left. Just this week, we got more information that there is another protective order filing against the Maryland man, Abrego Garcia, which just surfaced. I mean, these people, we've got allegations now just to clarify, of human trafficking, spousal abuse, a gang member, and the Republicans are like, this is our guy. Like, this is the guy. This is who we're gonna back. It's like, what? Even this week, Governor Pritzker announced that he's fired up about Garcia too, and he's moving to withhold investments made in companies controlled by El Salvador in his state in retaliation to Trump deporting this guy. Like, he is like, we are gonna go to battle for Garcia. And this just developed this week. If you have kids, probably maybe put this on mute, but here we go.
Obtained by USA Today. Abrego Garcia's wife pleaded with a judge for protection from her own husband. A warning, the audio is difficult for some younger viewers especially to hear. Watch and listen.
He grabbed me from my hair and then he slapped me. I have pictures of the evidence, like all the bruises, because even on Wednesday, he hit me like around 3 in the morning. He would just wake up and hit me. He slapped me 3 times. And then last week I did call the police. My sister called the police because he hit me in front of my sister.
His wife responded to the audio with the statement, "My husband was traumatized from the time he spent in ICE detention, and we were in the throes of COVID. Like many couples, we were caring for our children with barely enough to get by. All of those factors contributed to the actions which caused me to seek the protective order."
Okay, so she's now, she's trying to excuse that, but a second protective order. This one was filed in 2020. She accused Garcia of kicking her, punching her, and slapping her, as well as threatening to kill her. She also accused Garcia of being mentally abusing to her children. In 2020, the protective order describes numerous incidents since 2019 during which Garcia allegedly dragged his wife by her hair, punched her in the face, drove her, shoved her. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, you guys. Shoved her, broke a phone, laptop, and TV set in their home, and terrorized her children, according to Fox News. At this point, I am afraid to be close to him, she wrote in the police filing. I have multiple photos, videos of how violent he can be and all the bruises he has left me. This is the champion that the Democrats want. This is their guy. This is their guy. It blows my mind. Like, I don't even know how you could be a Democrat. I just don't. Like, this is who you guys are fighting for. This is who you want. Pick your fighter. You've picked this guy, right? Keep this guy in the country, right? It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And the lack of strategy, the lack of just reading the room for the Democrats to be like, maybe we shouldn't go with this guy. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should try to, I don't know, go to bat for American citizens. That's a thought. Like, what an idea. But no, they want illegal gang members in our country. And it's just like, okay. It's just so stupid. It's absurd. And this is why the idea for a satire hit me, because it's comedy of the absurd with the left. Like, it really is. So here is the latest satirical video. I put this out yesterday.
Alrighty, Democrats, it's that time. It's time for you to pick your person. That's right, it's time to pick the person that you're going to fight for. All right, contestant 1, you're up.
Hi, yes, I am an American citizen. I'm a married mother of 3, small business owner, and I'm just hoping that my kids can grow up in a safe America and have the same opportunities that I grew up with.
And now it's time for contestant 2.
My name's Frank. Could be, might be. And I came here illegally because I don't like laws. I might have trafficked some humans into the country as well. I might have done that. Along with some drugs, possibly. I might be part of a gang. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? And I'm not afraid to, smack up, right? So,
well, okay, Democrats, who's it gonna be?
This is a tough one.
Can we run some polling? Sorry, all the polling has been completed, and it's time to pick.
Okay. I can do this. We can do this.
I think we're gonna go with Frank. Frank? It's Frank, right?
Yeah, sure, it can be.
Well, there you have it, folks. The Democrats have picked their person. Thanks for tuning in.
The Democrats have picked their person. And I've had some pushback on this one because people are like, it wouldn't be that hard for Democrats to pick. Like, they would immediately pick the gangster. Like, the fact that you had your character like go back and forth with a struggle is just not realistic. And you're right. It's not realistic. But I think my approach was to show like how clearly, obviously, like anyone like with logical reasoning that doesn't have Trump derangement syndrome would see these two people and be like, well, clearly I'm going to go with the American citizen that's just, contributing to society. I want to protect her. That's obvious. Like, yes, that's the person we would pick. Like, if you're just a normal human, right? But I wanted it to be like the fact that they even struggle, like that you even struggle, and then you end up going with the gangster that violates and hurts women and could be trafficking drugs and humans. Like that, like that's crazy. That's absurd. So that was the intention. But you're right. It wouldn't. And that's what I think is just so wild to me, is that clearly Democrats are going to pick the guy, the gangster. Because that's where we're at. That's where we're at. That is reality, right? It's almost like, I think what has happened is when you have people that have gotten to the point where no matter Trump has done something to their brain that they can't, like, even if it doesn't matter what it is. They could be like, Trump saved, 100 drowning puppies. They were all a car, a truck was going across a river and it flipped and it went into the river and there were puppies on board and Trump was behind him and he dove in and he saved all of the puppies and he rescued them and he didn't stop. I mean, he kept going and bringing the puppies in and saving the lives of the puppies. And Democrats will look at that and be like, well, that's just, dead puppies is better, right? I mean, it's clearly because he saved the puppies for his own good, like for his own benefit. He tried to get rich off the puppies. That's what the way they spin it and the way they make like a good thing bad is just, it's a sign of mental issues taking place. The fact that there's anybody trying to keep people that have done harm to Americans in America, it's mind-blowing. There's no logical reasoning to it, and they're still pressing into this. And I don't know. It's a losing strategy, obviously. So that's it. That's a wrap. Can she call a friend? Seriously, Heidi, I should have thrown that in. Can I call a friend? It's such a hard choice. I don't. All right. If the Democrats win another election, we will be died. True, Matt. Because they'll open the border right back up and then they'll declare amnesty. That's what they're hoping for. That's the goal. So we got a little bit of a reprieve, but that doesn't mean that you can just stop, right? You can't just like rest easy right now. You can't. In fact, I submitted a written testimony, but I was listening in Colorado right now. They're trying to make it illegal, like discrimination to dead name someone or to misgender someone. And I mean this is like worse than like California. It's so far leftism, and it's so egregious, and it's so harmful to our constitutional right to speak freely, right? Like they're trying to pass this. I think it went through the judicial House, the Senate Judiciary Committee. It was passed, and so now I think it goes on, and they're going to try to get our governor to sign into law that you can't misgender, and if you do, it's a form of discrimination, like lawsuits and all of that stuff, like, which is just insane. And it crosses into schools, it crosses into private schools, Christian schools, charter schools. It's so anti-American, and it's so wrong. But when I was listening to this hearing online, I heard so many people, and by the way, the people that came out against this were like, it was 2-1. It was massive turnout, like even more than that, like probably 4-1. Right. But when you would hear the people that were for this, I heard such brokenness in these people. These people are hurting. Many of them were transgender. They were talking about how, their life has been ruined because someone misgendered them. They're hurting people. They're in such pain. And I thought to myself, like, wow, like these people are trying to take their internal pain, right? And ask the government to heal them, right? And the government can't heal anything. The government will never be able to heal you. Only God can heal you. But I realize like there's a lot of people out there that are mentally unwell, that need to be healed, right? And they're searching for something to heal them. And I think that's what the left does. They really do look to the government to solve this problem that they have, or this pain that they have, or this trauma that they went through, hoping that, okay, once we get here, it'll be solved. Or once I have this happen, then it'll be better. Or now that if someone says that I'm a woman when I'm really a man, I can now sue them. That will fix the pain. But I thought in that moment, as I was listening to these people, I was like, wow, these people just need Jesus. Like, honestly, like, there's nothing that legislation can do to help these people. And legislating speech is obviously unconstitutional. If this does get passed by our governor, it will then get overturned by the Supreme Court. The government cannot police speech. The government can't tell you what you can and cannot say. And it's a violation of the First Amendment on a religious front. Because if you truly do believe biblical scripture, that there are male and female, and that what you speak holds value and weight, it does, especially if you're someone that prays, then you can't put words, you can't allow words, if you're a practicing Christian, to come out of your mouth that are contrary to scripture. So it's a whole mess happening in Colorado. Pray for this state. Honestly, you guys, pray for our governor. Pray that he does not sign this bill, because between the time of, if it does get signed to the point where it goes into Supreme Court, all the damage that can be done in between. But pray for those people that are really hurting, because that's what I heard. Like, in these testimonies that were of these people saying, hey, I'm a trans person, or I'm non-binary, or I'm this, or I'm that. I just heard pain. And it made me sad. It made me like, wow, like, it made me hurt for these people in a way that's like, to reach them the only way to reach these people is by sharing the love of Jesus with people like that, and not getting into some back and forth argument with them, because that's not going to work. So the best thing you can do is pray that God begins to work on their hearts, and that God puts people in their path where truth can be shared. But it was something that happened to me this week, and it was very impactful, because it was like, wow, like, a lot of these people really are, and they're all, all leftists, because you have to, government is God to them. And so they're going to their God, asking their God to intervene on their behalf to make things in their mind right. And that's not how the true one God, the Alpha, the Omega, how he designed it, right? It was never supposed to be this way. So anyways, I know I'm going off, but I just was really much impacted by that. Cause like, there are people out there that are really hurting. There really are people that are hurting, and we have it good right now. And I hope that we start to see movement in the economy, obviously, with Trump as president. But like it was mentioned on here, like we have to hold control here and power here in 2026 and in 2028, or else a lot of what we see will be overturned. And then you'll have people come back that believe government is God, and they'll try to intervene in your personal life, just like we're seeing here in Colorado. And we saw that under the Biden administration. We saw, oh my gosh, such overreach. I don't know if you guys remember, but the Biden administration tried to use OSHA to force people to inject themselves with the vaccine, if you guys remember that. Like, it was a very tumultuous time of like, I don't want this in my body. And they're like, well, you have to take it if you want to keep your job. I mean, the intensity of it. But they believe that government is the all-powerful, their God. And it's a battle. But it also, to me, like listening to these testimonies, listening to these people talk, it just reminded me, I think, of just that our battle truly is not flesh and blood. It's not. It's spiritual. And there is way more that you can do on a prayer front than you can do at a physical front. There's so much more that you can do when you pray, because when you pray, that's when God acts, right? Like he moves when you move, right? That's when he can intervene. Like think of Daniel. Remember when Daniel was praying and praying and praying, and the angel that was going to help him, was it Michael? I think it was Michael. Like he was like, I answered your prayer. Like your prayer was answered, but I was delayed because he was fighting in the spiritual realm. Like Michael was battling in the spiritual realm before he was able to get to Daniel to help him. And so I think we forget often that our battle is not, it's not Democrats versus Republicans. It's not left versus right. It really is a spiritual battle that we are in. And the best way to fight that battle is through prayer, is to watch what you're saying. And to, if you want to see something move, begin to intercede and pray for it. And that's how, and then you actually begin to, so it happens in the physical, right? You get that breakthrough in the physical, in the spiritual realm, but it might take a while, like it did with Daniel, before you see it in the physical realm, right? So that's why there's such power in faith, because faith begins rejoicing for what you're not yet seeing in the physical, even though you believe it's already been done in the spiritual. Do you know what I'm saying? Like faith is the evidence of things hoped for. I mean, is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. So you believe, you thank God for, hey, it's already happened. It's already been done. The prayer's answered. And now it's going to manifest in the physical. And so whatever you are praying for, believing God for right now, there is a battle taking place for it in the spiritual realm. And I really felt that when I was watching these testimonies, and I couldn't imagine, and I know people that were down there at the Capitol, I'm sure you could probably even feel it. If there were people there, I'm sure that you could feel probably the battle taking place. And so remember that as you head into your weekend and head into next week, that prayer is your most powerful weapon. It really is. There's incredible power in prayer. God moves when you pray, and to pray for these people that are hurting, to pray for these people that are struggling, because God can heal anyone. He really can. He can heal there's nothing that God cannot do. There's nothing that's impossible with God. And so I just want to leave you with that, basically. So, but it was interesting to listen, because at first you start listening, you're like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And then the more I listened, I was like, gosh, these people are really, really hurt and trauma. And then it was really painful because you heard some kids that were being transitioned or whatever by their parents. And I could hear, like in their written testimony, you could just hear the parent talking through them, like as a form of manipulation and manipulating this child. And that is just like, it's just detestable to me, but it's also like, I saw the spiritual side of it, and I'm like, my goodness, pray for these people. Honestly, pray for them. So, all right, you guys, thank God prayer is back in the White House. Amen, Heidi. And it is such a powerful thing to see people praying for our president, and to see people in the White House praying over our president. I know that happened a few weeks back, and it's just awesome, powerful, powerful, powerful thing. The prayers of the righteous man are powerful and effective. Amen, Barb. Yes. The effectual, fervent prayer of the righteous man avails much. Yes, Sharon. Amen. All right, you guys. God bless you. Be praying for our president. Pray for this country. Pray for the left. Pray for them. I mean, yeah. And people are like, oh, there's nothing God can't do. Like I said, he can take, and I've heard testimonies. I've heard insane testimonies about people that, even if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. And then God can get a hold of them and just completely transform them. There is no sin too great. And there's no point where God can't go through and reach that person. So if you have someone that you've been praying for, don't let up. Don't be discouraged. Press on, press through it. May God mount you up with wings as eagles, right? And you run and you do not grow weary. You walk and you do not grow faint. Like, just being persistent in that is what gets the breakthrough. It really is. So, all right, you guys, I am thankful for you all. Wishing you a wonderful weekend. Mine's baseball again. It's baseball, but I love it. I do. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do is to watch my kids play sports. It really is. I really enjoy it. It's awesome. So, all right, you guys. Oh, really quick, if you would like to support, I always forget, and people are like, you need to do this. Like, if you want to grow, Rachel, if you want to keep doing this, you need to get support. So I'll drop this in the comments. You can support me on Patreon. I also, you can be a supporter on Facebook. I don't think I have anything on YouTube, but on X as well, you can subscribe. And it's just supporting the content. But God bless you all. I'm thankful for you all, and have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. Bye, guys.